Okay, let me think. The word of the day. The question is, you have to give us your name and you have to tell us if you have found open houses to be successful. We'll start with you. Give us your name and have you found open houses to be successful?
I'm Wes, and yes, I have found them to be successful.
That was simple. Okay, John.
John Wilson, and yes, I found them to be successful with the right preparation.
Good man. This guy just always makes me look so good.
I'm Kimberly Smith, and I find them to be helpful because I can learn how to talk to people better, and so I think they will be successful for me.
Okay. Kelly, Kelly, as a loan originator, do you do open houses?
I used to.
Okay.
I haven't
Tell
for a
us
while,
about
but
that.
yes, I thought they were beneficial.
Okay. Kelly Gray Wonder.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kelly Gray.
Kathy Fernandez, and yes, open houses have been very good to me, in part because, as John says, you have to be prepared, and it's a mindset as well, and we'll talk about that. Amanda hasn't done any open houses yet, but do you think they might be successful for you with your personality?
I definitely think that they would.
Can you project a little bit?
Yes, I definitely think that they would be successful with my personality.
Hi, my name is Lisa Staniforth, and yes, they are successful. I'm closing a cash deal.
Because of an open house?
Yes, because of an open house, and she even has. She was selling her house already. She already had a realtor. I was like, oh, okay. Well, I guess she's already helping you to buy your house. She goes, well, and I was like, yes. So I got her her own house, and we're closing Thursday.
Wow. Round of applause for this success story.
Did you recall that other realtor?
No.
I'll pay you later for that testimony.
Okay.
Okay, any field problems, anybody? Field problems? Any success stories besides the one we just heard?
We just got started, Tracy.
Yeah, I haven't seen anywhere, Trace. Trace, the question of the day is, you have to remember your name and give us your name and tell us if you have found open houses to be successful.
Trace Henderson, and yes, open houses have been successful in my business.
Yes. Come on in, Paul. Oh, goodbye, Paul. All right. Let's see. Amanda, give us points. Who's winning and who's not?
I would say my team won. We guys really got to keep this up. I don't even know if any of these people are still here. Terry Ellis, Robin Hayes, and Lane Rouse.
That's a team that's winning?
No, that's like
Okay, to be honest with you, I don't care about the folks that don't show up. Why don't you just tell us which teams are winning and who the team captains are and who's on that team?
Team 2, you guys are by far and away in the lead.
Who's the captain?
Kimberly Smith.
Okay.
And I was saying she is our Lady Liberty of business cards, leading the way.
How many business cards has she handed out?
130 with her tally from this week.
Whoa. How are you doing that?
Everyone we ever go, I hand them out.
Okay.
Never get any negative feedback.
That's good.
No negative feedback from hanging.
That's good.
Have you?
No, but there's still that little thought in the back of my mind.
Remember, you're doing people a favor.
That's true.
You're doing them a favor. You would rather have these people work with you than a realtor that's not as good as you, right? Right. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Sales is the most honorable profession ever. That's even in the Bible, I think. I think it's in the Bible. I'm serious. Thank you. You want to elaborate a little bit? Because you probably know better than me.
I really don't. I was just backing up there.
Oh, I'll pay you later too.
Thank you.
John's pretty
I
good.
can't think of a specific verse, but you definitely are honored for declaring what you believe.
Oh, okay.
So
Actually, I think it is somewhere in the Bible, but it would take me a little while to find it. Okay, so her team is winning, and who's on the team, please?
We've got Kimberly, Kathy, and Lily. And now, last week, I had this already for you.
Keep going.
Now, last week, Kathy was leading the way in the team. Now, this week, with her points, Actually, Kimberly is beating Kathy by 5 points. So keep it up, Kimberly.
Good for you, Kimberly. And who's team number 2 with how many points?
Team 2 has got 463 points. That's Kimberly, Kathy, and Willie Brown.
Well, that's the win.
That's the winning team. And second place team is Team 3 with Kelly, Joan, and Dean in it. And they've got 224.
Who's the high point getter on that team?
Who's the high point getter on that team? Yeah, Kelly. Yeah,
With
that's it.
50.
Business cards and closing.
Good, Kelly.
Leading the way in
Our
closing.
our losing team. Who's the leader of our losing team?
Terry Ellis.
He hasn't been here. Maybe that's why. And okay, they have 78 points. All right. Okay. The question of the day is you have to give us your name and tell us if you find open houses to be successful.
My name is Paul Lambert, and I don't find them to be successful.
Okay. And that's why you're here today, so you can make them successful. Because as good as you're doing, I bet you'd like a few more transactions.
Sure do.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I think we're ready to talk about open houses. So preparation for an open house. Go ahead and look at your package because I've prepared this today. And we'll walk through it, and this is how I treat open houses.
Thank you.
First of all, please understand, I do not love to do open houses. It's not like I live for that. But what I do know is if I can get in front of a potential seller or buyer, I have a really good shot at being successful and capturing their business for all kinds of reasons. Has a little bit to do with personality. That's why I think Amanda's going to be great. You have to be a little fearless. You have to be willing to ask for the order. And you have to be prepared. So let's start with the successful open house number 1. First of all, I don't really have a theater background. I have more of a dance background. But having said that, you could say I have a minor in theater. All of my family is in one fashion or another has been involved in theater. I like being on stage. I like performance. And so I consider an open house, even though I don't particularly want to do them, as showtime. It's a time to get on stage and be whatever is necessary, be a chameleon if necessary, to get a buyer or a seller, because sellers come to open houses too, don't they? They surely do. They come to open houses looking for their selling realtor. Anyway, I consider open houses to be showtime. It's our opportunity to not only show off the home, of course, but to show off your skills as a smart, empathetic salesperson with the ability to close the deal. And just so you know, I do not like the word deal ever when I'm talking to clients. You don't ever want them to think that they're just another deal for you. I call it our transaction. But for our purposes today, we're going to call it a deal. Speaking of deals, I had the pleasure of doing some prospect calling with Amanda and Kimberly yesterday, and I'd like them to give us some feedback on how that went. What did you learn from our cold calling, Kimberly?
Other than the 411.
Talk louder.
Other than the 411, apparently that's how you get an operator. There was to talk with your voice kind of calm and then not talk so fast. And I think that's the biggest takeaway that I got
The
from it.
takeaway, right. Once you have somebody on the phone, drop your voice an octave and slow down your talking so that you don't lose them and you don't sound nervous. And people want to work with people who can get the ball over the goal line. And if you sound like you're scared, they're not going to want to work with you. So that was your takeaway. Amanda, what was your takeaway?
My takeaway, I wrote this all down and now I can't remember, of course. I also learned to drop your voice and talk slower, but in addition to that, I learned that you need to be the one in control of that conversation and not to let it get away from you and let them become the one in control. So I guess asking questions.
That's excellent. That's an excellent takeaway. Staying in control is remaining calm and anybody? Asking questions. Oh, you're such a genius. Is asking questions. Yes. Good. And that was fun yesterday. We're going to do it again. If anybody wants to do some cold calling, let me know and we will set it up. Prospect calling. We'll call people that you identify. I'm happy to do that. Okay. It's also your opportunity when you do an open house to meet buyers and sellers that frankly, otherwise you would never have had the opportunity to meet, capture, and assist with their real estate needs and put a commission check in your bank account. If you don't, you have to go to get, right? You have to go to get. You have to get yourself out there in order to have the potential of meeting buyers and sellers. So what to do to make the open house successful? 1 week before the open house, send a just listed notice out with the date of the open house. Anybody do that? A lot of work. I frankly don't do that. I need to do that. If I did that, my open houses would even be more successful. But we should be doing just listed cards anyway when we've taken a new listing. You can have agent services do your just listed cards. It's not very expensive. And if you time it right, you can actually announce your open house at the same time. And that's a great idea. Amanda, we need to start doing that. Of course, in this hot market, sometimes by the time you send the notice out, you've sold the house, right? But you've got your just listed cards out. And then if you get the house sold even before the open house, what do you get to do next?
Sold.
Send out just sold cards and you're a hero. And you'll probably pick up some more clients. Exactly. Okay. And or if you don't want to, yes, sir.
Kathy, I was going to ask you what is the standard price for that? Just because I just recently acquired a listing and I wanted to.
I'm thinking you can do a 200-piece mail out, which will give you the bulk mail rate. And Trish will be no more, but I would think that that's less than $200. Anybody know that?
Did you send that many for an open house?
It wouldn't just be for the open house, Kelly. It would be to also announce the just listed. But I would absolutely include open house in that mail out. There's no reason not to. A lot of realtors, a lot of your competitors do not do open houses. A lot of your sellers want you to do. We have one seller that wants us to do an open house every single day. We're not doing it, of course, every single day. But the fact that you'll do an open house when your competition won't really gives you a leg up, especially when you're competing for listings. Because not every realtor will do them. Yes, ma'am.
Kevin didn't want to use agent services one time for sending out. So it worked out, calling other companies and checking it out. It worked out to almost $1, 75 cents to $1, depending on how much you get per card.
Oh, okay. Thank you. That included postage, right? Yeah, it's almost not that much more than a photo ad. And a photo ad's costing us $65. And I do photo ads. And I'm willing to do that because I really think that enhances your traffic, but it's just not that much more. And I highly recommend it. Or if you don't want to do the mail out, you can actually just knock on some doors in the neighborhood 1 to 2 days before the open house. Develop a little flyer about the property, about the open house with your name everywhere, and knock on doors. If somebody answers the door, you don't ask them if they want to sell their house. Well, ask for the order. I'm canvassing the neighborhood you want to sell. No, the smoother way is to say, anybody? Paul probably knows the smoother way to do it, or John?
You're invited. I want to invite you to my
Yeah,
open house
yeah.
today.
I want to invite you to my open house today or tomorrow, whenever. And by the way, in the meantime, do you know anybody that might be in the market to buy or sell a home? Always ask the question, but you don't necessarily have to ask them to sell their first and last home. Okay, so, and I really recommend.
I was going to say the plus side of doing that, especially if it's the day before or 2 days before the open house, is usually they don't think about it right away. But if they do think, oh, my buddy Frank, he's looking for somewhere in this neighborhood, and then they bring them to the open house.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's something that's not always on everybody's top of their mind there, but it's.
And with decent weather, there's really no reason why you shouldn't be walking and knocking on doors anyway. I mean, in the wintertime, that's something else. And when I sold real estate in Texas, we door knocked constantly and left flyers on doors constantly. And you just get used to it after a while. And when you actually have the pleasure of meeting somebody, it's even better. And you just chit-chat for a minute, ask if they know anybody in the market for a home, give them a business card. And then if they seem like they're warm prospects in one fashion or another, go back another time. Try to get a phone number so you can follow up. Okay, now C, under 3, place open house photo ad in the Jack White's weekend open house ADN advertising. With the ADN, I think this may have changed up a little bit. If you did a photo ad, you also went on a certain ADN website. And now I think you have to pay to be on that website. So I don't know. We're not paying to be on the website, but we do a photo ad. And the truth is it makes your seller really happy, doesn't it? Yeah, I don't want my seller to say, well, everybody else had a photograph, Kathy. Why didn't you put one in? Well, because I'm cheap? No. Okay. D, the day of the open house, prepare a simple market analysis of the neighborhood homes for sale, sold, off-market, and sale pending. Make Xerox copies of that 2-page document, get your business card on it, and have a stack of that information in the open house. I have picked up listings or great referrals. I had a referral of a $700,000 home earlier this year because when they came to my open house up in Prominence, I just had a simple market analysis of the neighborhood, and these people were so taken with that. Any of us could do, our kids could do that, but they were so taken with that that when they had some friends come to town that wanted to buy a $700,000 house, they said, "Oh, you must call Kathy. She knows everything about Prominence Point." And that's just because I had a market analysis there. I mean, it took me like 15 minutes.
Kathy, remind them too about the home state brochures
Absolutely.
to be able to be done for you on Friday. And I literally have had people call me back, 'cause they've got your name on them and they've got my name on them. And I've literally had people call me back a year later because they stuck it in their glove box, just threw it in there and called on them. And so they do hang on to those. I'll have your information.
Good to know.
Are you leaving us?
Yeah, I have to go now.
I'm glad you showed up.
Hanging out for a little bit.
I'm glad you did. Come back.
All right, thanks.
There's a brochure that's got your picture, copy, a picture of the house, the information on the house, and then on the inside of it, it's got a breakdown of what kind of financing is available on it. And then it's got home states originators on the back.
And it shows the prospective buyer, how much their mortgage payment would be.
And their total move-in costs, and it
makes you look super smart.
I haven't seen them. So.
and they all want that. They
And
all
even if you're, doing an open house for somebody else, it doesn't have to be your listing.
want- good point. Thank you for that, Kelly.
And thanks for producing those.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so you've done a little market analysis. For your purposes, be sure to have okay, and then what I do is I don't give them the public handout. I just give them a one-line printout of what's for sale, what's sold, et cetera, et cetera. But for me, I'm going to do a full printout of every available home in that neighborhood. Why would I do that? Anybody? Why would I do a full printout for myself?
So you have the information to share.
So I have the information, so at 6 o'clock, when they want to go look at a house in the neighborhood, I've got all the information to make the appointment. You can do that on your iPad or your iPhone, but I'm still paper, so I do a full printout. I don't give them anything. They just get the one-line printout. So I have all the information so that I can actually show a home. 3 doors down, there's another home. Would you like to take a look at that one? It's still available for sale. Been on the market 27 days. I could call right now and make that appointment. Would you like to look at that? If that's the case, what is the I that we dot and the T we cross? If that's the case. AREC, thank you. You have a supply of consumer pamphlets. This guy's too. Have a supply of consumer pamphlets, because if you're going to show them a house, they must sign the consumer pamphlet, or they must acknowledge that you gave it to them. Am I right, Annie? Am I right? Okay, do you have to give them, do you have to have them sign a consumer pamphlet when they come to your open house?
No.
Of course not. No. Okay.
Good way to get their name out first.
Oh, sure. Before we're through, we're going to get their names. Trust me. We'll have names today. Okay.
Kathy, I have a question on that. Yeah. Is it appropriate where if they come in and they're either obviously interested in the neighborhood or something about that one house? Price maybe 3 bedrooms or whatever. Is it appropriate to go sit with them right there on your computer and try and pull up some others if you don't know what that criteria was? Because you said you try and have other ones listed in the neighborhood or
In other words, if I showed up at the open house without the information, is it appropriate to go to my iPad and check it out?
well, because you don't know what criteria
Doesn't matter.
you're looking at.
Oh, they come in and, okay.
They
Kelly's
want-
already moved beyond the presentation.
Oh, I'm
She's now
sorry.
closing on people, but
sorry.
that's, no, you're good. You're good. You're fast.
I was just.
Yeah, oh, there's nothing wrong with having your iPad available and talk about listings that'll work for them. But Kelly, the problem with that is you could miss 4 other people coming in the door. if you get so engaged with somebody. Not now, if they are hot to buy and they want to buy today, then get engaged with them. But if they're just brick kickers, then don't lose the opportunity to meet with other people because you're so focused on them. Because that cash buyer might have walked in right behind him, and if you're all focused on these people that want to take up all your time, you've just missed the cash buyer. Okay, okay, prepare a package of information about yourself that you can hand out to open house visitors, especially if they are not working with a realtor. So here's what I do. We have marketing kits that my daughter puts together for us. And in the kit, we just keep these handy. They're laying out on the table. If somebody's, totally working with another realtor, I'm not going to hand this out to them unless I think that I can break that relationship by the questions I might ask. But in this kit, we have information about information about the team. We have information about how we sell houses. We have Jack White information stats. We have our little newsletters. We have the real estate book and the magazine. We have lots of stuff. We also have in here the Jack White brochures, home finding needs, commitment to excellence, home selling needs. I have a little sheet in here that tells them how to find Jack White. They want to come see me. So in other words, I just have stuff in here about me with some business cards, and they get to take this with them. In fact, they are sort of, here's why I do this. Because for years and years and years of handing a business card to them that you find laying on the front step when you go to pick up your signs and leave, I've realized that you got to give them something a little bit more aggressive than just a business card. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a business card, but if they don't, they're not going to do anything with that business card except put it in the wallet and never think of you again. If you give them information about yourself, that'll be different. I also recently picked up these little bags that have my name on them, and if they want to carry information out about that, and then there may be a package about the property, I'll say, why don't you put it in this little bag? So just a little handout. And then the other thing that we have is I bring my little pins that are little stylus pins with my name and phone number all over them, and people love pins, and many times they'll take a pen with them. Can I have a pen? Yes, take two. So that's what I do to try to be a little different. This is how I work an open house. We also have information about our listings here, so we cross-reference market. We always talk about our other listings to the other realtors and more information. And so this sits out on the cabinet on the countertop, just like the flyer stand does with the flyers in it. Then I spread the disclosure packages out in front. So it's a nice little presentation. I used to bring a little Oriental rug and put the rug down and put this on top, and thought that was a little over the top. So I don't do that anymore. But do something to make yourself different and look professional, and don't look like you just showed up with a business card and you hope somebody shows up. So this is showtime.
Where did you get those bags?
I ordered them. Would you like to know where I ordered them? Okay. Amanda, let's remember to tell John where we ordered the bags. All right. So that's F, prepare a package of information about yourself. G, have flyers about your open house together with complete disclosure packages that can be handed out to open house visitors who might be interested in the home. I think those open house books, those 3-ring binders that the top agents always put in the houses are just fabulous, makes the seller happy, but nobody gets to take a book home, do they? I want people who come to my open houses to take a disclosure package home that will give them the utility bills, the disclosure information, the schools. It's something that I want them to carry out the door with them, so that house stays in their mind long after they've been there. If it's just a 3-ring binder in the home, which looks wonderful, sellers love it, but nobody gets to take them home. H, have general market information available at your open house, and particularly have available information about the other homes you personally have on the market, which is this, and it's in this package as well. We cross-reference our listings. Okay, now the fun part, the dialogue at the open house. The person asking the questions is in charge, right? And the person with the clipboard is also in charge. Am I right? I never leave this clipboard where anybody can sign in. I do not want anybody signing in because I've lost control if they're signing in, because you can't read what they sign in. They're not going to leave their phone number or their email address. And furthermore, you can't even read the name and they might give you the wrong name. I'm holding on to this, and this is the dialogue. Hi, welcome to my open house. My name is Kathy. How did you find me today? Was it the ad in the newspaper? Was it signage? Was it Zillow? Was it Realtor.com? Was it another realtor? The reason I ask that question is, first of all, it helps you know where your business comes from, what brought them in the door, but also I'm starting to become gently in charge, right? And that's what I say is important. Okay, so that's, and for those of you who are afraid to ask questions, that's an easy question to ask. How'd you find me today? And it's a friendly question. Say it with a big smile on your face. Another really good question. It seems like a silly, obvious question, but it's not at all. Are you in the market for a home? Just because they showed up doesn't necessarily mean they're in the market for a home. Many times it's the neighbor. Oh no, I'm just a neighbor. I just live down the street. We're just curious about this house. You know, that's great. I'm so glad you're here because it's neighbors that help us sell houses. Because you may know somebody that you would like as your new neighbor. Is that right? And then at some point, may I get you logged in? So I encourage these neighbors. These neighbors are your best friends. They don't know it, but they are your best friends. But you need to qualify these people. Are they in the market for a home? And that's the best way to start. Just because they showed up doesn't mean they're buyers. Number C, have you already seen a lot of homes or are you just getting started? Okay, so if they say, yeah, we've seen 100 homes already, what would you do, Paul?
I'm out.
You'd get rid of them? Okay. If they've seen 100 homes already, what would you do?
I'd wonder why.
Yeah,
Why? You know, how come you're looking at so many homes? Are you ready to buy, or have you just not found the one? Or I would just keep asking.
you know, the common denominator answer to that is, well, we've put a lot of offers on homes with our realtor and we just never end up getting a property. Oh my goodness, really? And why is that? Well, we don't really know, but our realtor tells us what to offer. We'd like to make a good buy, but we just seem to keep losing out. Of course, what you want to say is you need to change realtors, but you have to be a little careful with that. So you might say, well, let me tell you how I like to work. Or, you know, you could launch into that, but it's perfectly acceptable to ask them why they've seen so many houses and why they haven't been successful, because you're going to learn more how best to help them. If they're just getting started, that's okay too. The just getting started people are usually very nervous. And they're afraid to leave any information because they're afraid you're such a good salesperson, you're going to sell them something they don't want at all. So you have to baby them a little bit. So the next question, what are the features of your next home that would be important to you? Are we not qualifying these people and qualifying the houses? Absolutely. Are we closing? Are these closing questions? Absolutely, they are closing questions. And if you're not, you have to always be closing in this business. So what I often do is say, you know, I'm going to write that down. You just told me what you're looking for. I'm going to write that down so I don't miss anything that's important to you. Now, we kind of talked about this yesterday, Kimberly. What's the point of that particular communication?
Just to get more personalized with them and kind of understand what their needs are.
Additionally, it lets them feel you care and it makes them feel important. And a big part of sales and success in sales is letting other people know that you care and that they are very important to you. And if you're taking notes on what they say, you have really flattered them. And you've done yourself a favor as well, because now you don't trip and get them the wrong house. Okay, next page. If you find just the right home, will you be paying cash for that home or creating a new loan? Oh, I just love to say that. And I say it with total sincerity, because it's just amazing the people who will actually be paying cash. In fact, that falls, I never assume people are getting a loan, never. It's a big mistake. So you're gonna, it's an icebreaker as well. Oh my gosh, we could never pay cash. I can't believe you thought we could. You never know, but you know, we always like to find out if maybe you're paying cash. Okay, so you're not paying cash, you're going to be creating a new loan. Are you working with a loan originator? That's my next question. Are you working with a loan originator? No, we're not. Well, you know, I work with several very good loan originators. Would you like me to help put you together with that loan originator? Would you like to help me? Would you like me to help you with that? And many times I'll say, why don't I just get a loan originator on the phone today? We've got these home state mortgage brochures. This is a young lady that I like to work with. Her name is Kelly. Let's see if we can get Kelly on the phone right now. Because suddenly they can't buy a house without you in their mind.
No, but I mean, I don't, very few people ever do that. And I think that is kind of hooks them just a little bit. It endears you to them because you've taken that extra step and you've started the process.
Yeah.
And once they, so many people hesitate to start that process. So they're afraid to do it. And you've taken that initial step out of the way for them. And I think it's great.
It works like a charm. So have you met with a loan originator? Let's try to get somebody on the phone. Okay.
Y'all are welcome to do that at any time,
In fact, you're dropping the ball if you don't.
even if it's to answer a question.
You're dropping the ball if you don't. Now, next question. Do you presently own a home? Well, yeah, we need to know that because we'd like to sell their house, wouldn't we? If so, will you want to sell or rent your present home before buying your next home? Be a little careful that you don't insult people by saying, I assume you need to sell your present home in order to buy. Don't insult them with that. It may not be the case. And they'll be insulted. It's just like assuming they can't pay cash. Will you want to sell or rent your home before you buy? If so, please know I can help you with that as well. Next, H. By the way, this is the whole point of today. Well, this is the first one of two whole points of today. By the way, I need to get you logged in as one of my visitors today. So, Kelly, let me have your name again, please.
Kelly Graywonder.
Okay, Kelly, is that Grawnder?
Correct.
I'm writing it down. She's not filling this in. And Kelly, let me have a phone number. I'd like to stay in touch with you.
830-6224.
And an email as well?
kgraywonder@homestatemtg.com.
And you said you presently own a home, right, Kelly? Let me have the address of that home. I'm not going to drive by or anything like that, but I just would like to be able to keep track of you.
11426 Spyglass Hill Circle.
Thank you, Kelly. Now, I can't tell you how many people tell me I just didn't get it. I did an open house and people came and went and I don't have anybody's contact information. That's because you didn't ask. You didn't. Now, I'm going to tell you, believe it or not, 9 out of 10 people will answer that question and I get them logged in. And at the same time, if I've been taking notes on what they're looking for, they're even more inclined to give you the contact information. And I put the notes right along with the name and the phone number and everything. Is there anybody that thinks they can't do that? I'm looking right at Kimberly. Little Miss Shy Kimberly. You know what we've learned about Kimberly? Amanda brought this to my attention yesterday. Kimberly is a cheerleader. Now, how many people do you kick your leg up to your ears in front of as you cheer?
A lot.
A lot. So Amanda says to me yesterday, how can she be so shy and be a cheerleader? I mean, that's a really good, how do you do that?
I've just done it for so long and I'm comfortable with cheering. So I think that's why I don't.
Do you think you could get comfortable with asking
Yeah.
people for, yes, I
Yeah.
think you could. Yeah, you can't be a cheerleader and be shy. That's showtime, girl. That's showtime. Okay. So by the way, I need to get you logged in as one of my visitors today. They won't all go along with that. Well, we'd really rather not. Oh,
Give you some resistance.
yeah, I got this. Well, we'd really rather not. Oh, really? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Have you had some problems with realtors in the past? I mean, nail them on that in the nicest possible way. I'm sorry. Have you had some problems? Well, yeah. Okay. I totally understand then. That's fine. Next. Who's next? Okay. So I log in all the guests. I don't let them log themselves in. And I said, why not? You all heard me say why not, but let me hear you say why not. Why not get them logged in?
They have bad handwriting.
Bad handwriting on purpose. They don't want you to call them. You might sell them something. Oh, horrors.
Stay in control.
Thank you. Stay in control.
You have someplace to go after the open house.
Meaning what?
You have new leads.
New leads. Yes, you have warm leads. They cared enough to get off their couch and start looking at houses. These are probably your live buyers.
To try to fill in all the blanks because they'll probably leave blanks.
Fill in the blanks. Yeah, phone number and email address, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We won't bother, Kelly. Any reason why you wouldn't do that? Or what's the reason for doing that?
I have worse handwriting.
Well, you know, there is a realtor that actually uses her iPad and logs them in on her iPad. Who does that?
Oh, that's a good idea.
It's a great idea, isn't it? Yeah.
That we can have it set up so it goes right into your
Database.
database.
There,
and-
there's a way. There's an app.
There's an app for that.
Because that's more today's.
Well, the young people would love that. Young people would really like that.
It was actually kind of funny. I was hosting an open house with Kevin Sigafus, and Dwell Realty has their open house right across the street, and this couple goes in, very nice military couple, both husband and wife in the Air Force, just got up here that Thursday before that, and they didn't know where they were going. Well, they go to his open house first, and then they come over to mine, and they're in there for maybe 5-10 minutes. And they come over to mine, and I just start talking to them, kind of educating them on everything. And then, 4 days later, I have a pending contract with them.
Yay! Another round of applause. Because you cared.
Because I actually, I was thinking, I was like, these guys, they were, to me, the way I was taking it, they were begging for some help. And I was like, how did they just leave from this open house
And not be captured.
and not be captured at all? I
Yeah.
didn't really do anything differently than I normally do. I just start talking to them.
Just
and like,
engaged.
Yeah.
Engaged. That is great. What did you sell them?
a place off of Marshall Loop. That's the one I went and talked to you about. It became the multiple offer.
Oh, you
But I
were
want it.
Yes! How did you do that?
$1,000 over asking and asked for $4,000 in closing.
Good job.
So,
Good for you. Yeah.
so hopefully it goes all.
How many offers were coming in on that?
As far as I know, there's 2.
There was 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they didn't want to make a great offer, but you educated them to get in the ball game. Get in this ball game here. Good job on that. What's the
yeah.
sales price?
It was listed at $285,000.
So that's 3 times, it's about $9,000 minus your costs. And you were in the open house, what, 3 or 4 hours?
3 hour, and they were my first. Right as I was open, they were there, pretty much. So
Do the math.
4
Do the math.
properties.
I think you just made about $350 an hour, if not more.
I
Maybe
hope- I think
$400
more,
an
yeah.
hour by the time you get there.
Keep on doing it.
That is
You
beautiful.
had a good connection with them too.
Yeah, well, definitely having the military background too, I think helped, and I knew some of the lingo and
And
asked some
that's-
question about it.
That is going to be so important.
They are very
So
loyal.
we have a lot of VA buyers.
to
Yeah. And then not only that, but after I was just talking to them this weekend, the next day they said, "Hey, our buddy's renting right now,
Yep.
and he wants to buy a house, so we want you guys to meet." And I was like, "That'd be fantastic." Yada yada yada.
Don't you love this
in with the
business?
military
Oh, yeah.
there, so-
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's, the story you've just told is literally why I'm still doing this. It's just so fun. It's so exciting.
It is.
And what we do is so meaningful to people.
As long
And
as
they
you
like
get
you and they
jobs.
trust you.
That was because I wasn't sure how they felt about me. Like honestly, I was like, I'm doing the best job I can. That's all I can do is put the as much forward as I can. But once they said that they had their buddy that's just got stationed up here about a month prior to them, he was renting, and they want me to meet him. I was like, that's awesome.
That's your
Like,
compliment right
yeah,
there.
and I was like, well, I think they're
That's a testimonial.
So.
Good job. And you're right. More business, more and more business will come from that. Congratulations. Sounds like you did everything right.
So thanks for your advice on that.
Oh, you're very
I
welcome.
did put that in play.
Good. Okay, here we go. This is the coup. The final close. Got to do this, guys. If this home will meet your needs, would you want to put an offer on this home today? I don't care how the dialogue went with these people. I don't care even if you didn't get any information, which I would be upset if you hadn't, Amanda, and of course you will. But you have to ask everybody to buy the house. And I know Paul could do that. Paul is also fearless. If this home will meet your needs, would you want to put an offer on this home today? Okay. They might say yes. So if they say yes, what are you going to do? Write an offer, right. You know, a lot of realtors bring an offer to an open house, so you can write an offer right there. Our offers have gotten so incredibly complicated that may not be the best thing to do, but the truth is you could still write a skeleton offer, collect an earnest money check, yes, get their check, and then go back to the office and meet them that evening or the next morning to finalize the offer. But I've learned years and years and years ago, just get a check. Just get them to write you a check. Then you own them. Okay, 5B, I understand this home isn't exactly what you're looking for, but would you want to put an offer on the home anyway? It makes them kind of laugh. But you got to let them know that you know it's not what they wanted. Because if you don't say that, then they'll think, she didn't listen to what I said. We don't want to buy a 3-bedroom home. We have to have 4 bedrooms. But you say to them, and I challenge you and dare you to say, I know this home probably wouldn't meet your needs, but would you want to put an offer on this home anyway? That's another icebreaker. And they really like you because you asked for the order. And guess what? The 5 other open houses they went to that day, nobody asked for the order. Nobody engaged them. If you just ask for the order, doors open like magic. C, since you don't want to put an offer on this home today, no matter how many times I ask you to do it, would you be available to meet with me at my office either later today or tomorrow so we can, A, design a property search for you of homes that meet your needs. That way the homes find you and you don't have to hunt for them. I have said that probably 6 times in the last week to 6 different prospects, and it's like they don't know that. I mean, I'm always thinking, how could you not know that's how it works? Really, you mean we can just, all the houses that meet my needs will actually come to my email? So I don't have to drive around and, yep, we can sure do that for you. I'd love to do that. B, walk you through a buyer's kit so you will know all there is to know about the important decisions you will need to make before making a buying decision. You know, that's another hook because they don't know anything about buying a home. And you're going to say, Kathy, I don't have a buyer's kit. Yes, you do. You have a buyer's kit. Guess where it is? In the production room. It's the buyer's package. You just use that, guys, and you look like a genius. There's so much great information in there, and you just bring them in the office, sit them down, and walk through a buyer's kit with them so they understand how little they know about buying a home and how much they need you. Then I say, the other reason you're coming into the office, I want them to know this, is to authorize paperwork so I have a commitment to you as your realtor. So I am committed to you as your realtor to professionally assist you with your home buying process. And so there is a commitment on your part that gives me authorization to work for you. And by the way, you must make sure they know this because they don't know this. Because they think, oh my gosh, I'll have to bring my checkbook and give her a consultation fee. By the way, my services to you are free. I don't charge any kind of consultation or finder's fee. Some other realtors do. But at Jack White, we do not do that. And Jack White only gets paid when the sale of a home to you is finalized. Those are things that they just, surprise, surprise, don't know. Any comments about any of this, people? Is this doable? This is a successful open house because you're in charge, you're asking questions, you've prepped, you have information to hand out. You stand out above the crowd because no other realtor at any open house they went to did this for them. You're a true professional. Comments? Anything you've learned that you didn't know before that you can take away, Kimberly?
I definitely like the way you ask the questions for like design a property, try to get them in the office. I'm going to start doing that because I meet people at open houses, but I don't know how to
get
bring them in. So.
And not everyone's going to roll over and want to come in. But the truth is, if you get one a week, you're doing very well. But you got to ask. If you're not asking, you're not going to get them. John, did you learn anything you didn't know?
It was a good refresher.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Every time I do this, it refreshes me too. It's easy to get in some bad habits. We can get a little lazy or a little tired and we don't follow all the steps that make a difference.
Yeah, I learned a lot. It was definitely refresher, but now I am going to have the time to implement more of this. So I'm excited about that. Mhm.
Well, congratulations on whatever that means.
Somebody leaving and I'm not.
Oh, no, I didn't want to hear that. Amanda, what did you learn that you didn't know before?
I think honestly, it might be small, but my favorite is not to call it a deal, but to call it a transaction. It sounded better when you said it that way.
Thanks, Amanda.
You know,
You have the innate ability to pick up the tiniest things that I think are very important. And one of the things that I like to talk about is the fact that we are word brokers. Realtors are word brokers. We don't use the word deal because it makes it sound like buying a car. So I've schooled myself over the years to say words that make it sound far more professional and far more respectful too of what we do. I like that. Thank you. Paul, what did you learn that you didn't already know since you already know everything?
I like the buyer's kit idea. That's pretty cool, you know. It actually gives them kind of a feel for how much we really do for
Good
them.
point,
You know, that
yeah.
paperwork and stuff, you know.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good.
And that we are educated to help them.
Mhm. Thank you, Paul. I like that answer. Since you're just doing so well all of a sudden, this is great. But what did you learn?
I really do like Paul said, the buyer's pack. I was going to ask you if I can have one of yours.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can.
Um,
Well, and this is about me. This
That's
is actually
fine.
a package about me, but you're more than happy to.
Thank-
And if you don't
thank
have
you.
a package about yourself, make one up.
That's what I really need to do. It's
Yeah.
kind of like not necessarily a biography about myself, but just something short, kind of my background.
Exactly.
And
That's what they all want to know who you are.
right.
And what you were in a former life as well. And there's a lot of it's stuff that Jack White has that makes you look smarter. Kelly, did you learn anything you didn't know already?
Sure. I did.
All right. That's it for today. Thank you, people.
Thank you.
Good luck with your open houses.
I want all your templates. Where did I find them? Oh my God.
You want one of these? Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Of course, honey. I'm glad you're not going. You're so smart. I'm just so disappointed in you. Is he going to go to Remix? You're joking. No, I've heard that before. Yeah, they don't. Are you going to be solo or are you going to go on a team? Or? You'd be fine solo. You would be fine. You've learned a lot from Kevin already. And you're so likable. Mm-hmm.